Let's break down these teams.
I would say going ahead, and they got out of the lounge. They're into the arena now, and they are ready to get battling. On Reis2Occasion's side, actually just taking a look overall at the 12. I know in the losers finals we had a unique set of 12 Pokemon. There's 11 different Pokemon here, with the only one being the same is that Unova Stunfisk. That is the #1 Pokemon on day 2 usage here in Las Vegas.
Incredibly diverse meta that we are operating in currently, and the best trainer will find a way to weather the teams and the picks that they don't predict. That being said, I do think that Reis is going to bring that Empoleon quite often. That was so strong for him against Doonebug97 in their first go-around, because there's so many targets. You can hit the Wigglytuff, you can hit the Cradily, you can Hydro Cannon the Talonflame. There's very few options for Doonebug to maneuver around it.
If you look, there's a lot of weaknesses, but also some really strong things that both of these players can lean into, because the fact that Doonebug has a Wigglytuff on the side makes it so you can't bring both the Galarian Moltres and that Dusknoir. But in the same breath, Doonebug can't bring both that Cradily and the Wigglytuff because there's the Empoleon on that side of Reis2Occasion. So really, I mean, I think we might see what we saw a lot in that winners finals, in the losers finals, a lot of unique picks coming in each time, trying to throw in some different Pokemon, see what works, and see what your opponent wants to bring.
That's the thing, right? You don't always know what cards are left in the deck. You just have to work with the ones that are in your hand. And the grand finals and a gold trophy, a first place trophy, are in the hands of both of these trainers. Just depends on which one is going to seize it.
Looks like both of these trainers are getting locked in. They're getting ready. Make some noise. Get back to your screens here. Click in for the grand finals. As we start off here, we have a great lead for Doonebug. We have that Wigglytuff up against that Shadow Dusknoir on the side of Reis2Occasion. We see an immediate pivot out into a Gastrodon.
Great lead, as you called out. Wigglytuff's normal typing is so helpful, and the 3-turn fast attacks are chunking away at both of these Pokemon. Because there wasn't an instantaneous swap, it just proves that Doonebug is not ready for the Gastrodon. He's got to find a more neutral way to address it.
But Will, remember when I said you can't bring in both the Cradily and the Wigglytuff? The fact that the Wigglytuff is in the lead led Reis2Occasion to say, I can swap in my Gastrodon without having to worry about that Cradily coming into hard counter. And now this Wigglytuff, such a hard counter for that Dusknoir, is basically gone.
Wow, taking control, switch advantage, and KOing the Gastrodon. Doonebug is in firm control of this game #1. Throws the Icy Wind here into the Empoleon. I think no matter what, he's going to be happy to throw a charge attack.
This is going to lower the attack of the Empoleon here, but it's not very effective. It doesn't do much damage. But you know what might is this Primeape as it comes in and just starts ramping up. Dusknoir comes back in here, but there's already some energy on that Primeape. Has to shield up this first Rage Fist.
Astonish hits so hard that the Karate Chop timing there is absolutely critical. Now we see a pivot into the Galarian Corsola versus the Dusknoir. It does have a Protect Shield advantage, so maybe it doesn't need to fear the Shadow Punch as much, but the Astonishes, my goodness, are they adding up.
There's almost astonishing amount of damage here. Doonebug doesn't use a shield on that Galarian Corsola, recognizes how strong that Shadow Primeape is going to be against Empoleon, and they hang on. Actually, you see Reis not happy about that scenario, because now this Primeape with 2 shields comes into an Empoleon.
Absolutely hanging on by a thread there, and Reis2Occasion is now on the back fence. He's got to figure out how he's going to get past this Primeape, and he doesn't think there's a way. He's going to let that Rage Fist connect and the Karate Chops do the rest. But what a couple of pivotal lives, right? We talked about the Wigglytuff surviving on just 1 HP after KOing the Gastrodon, and then again a 1 HP survive on that Galarian Corsola. I mean, Doonebug's Pokemon are pulling through for him in a big way.
Doonebug said, Reis, you're going down, and he did in game #1. Doonebug able to hang on there and just be able to squeak away with that win. But you know what? That is exactly what he needs to keep on doing to be able to flip this bracket.
Exactly. As you take a look back at our game #1, Doonebug seemed to have all the answers, and it started with the lead call of Wigglytuff into Shadow Dusknoir. Dusknoir could not do much to help either because the Shadow Punch. This Galarian Corsola was just out of reach, and he couldn't get the KO.
Going ahead, and you see that. You see all of that energy. Doonebug didn't throw any charge attack there because he wanted to just get that Dusknoir out of the way, didn't want to give him any extra fast attacks. And in the end, it was just too much to go through. Primeape too strong with 2 shields to hide behind.
We talk about hard answers to Empoleon. I think that Doonebug has 2. He's got his Primeape and his Unova Stunfisk. So, like you brilliantly said, Amanda, you cannot really bring both the Wigglytuff and the Cradily, because then you're double weak to Empoleon. But I feel like Doonebug has to bring one or the other of that Primeape or Unova Stunfisk. Let's get right in to game number 2.
Game number 2, starting off here, we have that Unova Stunfisk on the side of Doonebug, up once again against that Shadow Dusknoir. A more neutral lead than definitely that Wigglytuff that was there. And if we take a peek at that backlines, we do see that Wigglytuff in the back lurking there, but so is the Empoleon.
Gonna see the Mud Bomb get thrown by the Unova Stunfisk, trying to chip down the Shadow Dusknoir. No Protect Shields yet from Reis2Occasion. It only does about, I don't know, 28-30% or so, so he's able to take that no problem. Shadow Punch coming back.
Now gonna throw that Shadow Punch here. No Protect Shield used by Doonebug's side. Puts that Unova Stunfisk pretty low, but Unova Stunfisk already at another Mud Bomb. It's up to Reis if he wants to use a shield. Exactly what he's going to do. He's already at enough energy here. We might see some sort of cheeky swap, or we might just see if he's gonna let that Unova Stunfisk go down.
One single Astonish, convert that into a Shadow Punch to pick up the KO, and at the cost of one Protect Shield, Reis2Occasion is going to secure Switch, which I do think is very important when you consider he does have that Empoleon in the back.
Oh, you come in though, and what you give, you take away. He didn't want to let those charms charm him down, but at the same breath, now he has locked his Empoleon into that Shadow Primeape. Shadow Primeape does have to put up a shield because that Drill Peck is super effective, but now Doonebug is just going to start ramping up once again.
Yeah, something tells me maybe Reis was looking out for the Unova Stunfisk here, but instead it's the Primeape. Primeape does connect the Rage Fist. The Karate Chops are doing a lot of damage, and it will be able to pick up the knockout before the next Hydro Cannon is ready.
Dusknoir comes back in, but a Rage Fist already loaded, using the Protect Shield here because this is boosted definitely enough to knock out that Dusknoir at this stage. And now being able to get a Shadow Punch off. Do we see a double shield off of Doonebug? Yes, he wants to be able to get that Primeape, wants to see what's in the back.
Yeah, it's already boosted up one stage from the Rage Fist, so the final Pokemon for Reis comes out. It is the Florges, but it's going to take a boosted Rage Fist for its trouble, and that's going to set up the Fairy type from Doonebug quite well here in the final part of the game.
Look how much that does. Boosted Rage Fist comes in. Wigglytuff comes back in just to soak up all of this damage. Reis2Occasion going for the Trailblaze means it's going to boost his attack a little bit, but Doonebug already nodding. Look how close he is to the Swift.
I wonder, we're going to see here, the Trailblaze doesn't do nearly enough. I don't even think a boosted Trailblaze would have weakened this Wigglytuff down to being knocked out. So instead we see the Swift get fired off. Wigglytuff and Doonebug, looks like they're going to take game number 2 as well, and there it is.
You know, like honestly, sometimes, like the saying goes, you got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to stay in if you have that alignment you're looking for and not swap out. Reis2Occasion, he didn't want to let that Wigglytuff get any extra charms through on the Dusknoir, but swapping into that hard counter Empoleon was exactly what Doonebug needed to get that game 2 victory.
No, you're exactly right. That was such a tricky position to be in, and Reis2Occasion giving up Switch after fighting so hard to secure it. I was definitely a little bit surprised to see that. He had already seen the Unova Stunfisk, so he knew that that was not going to be in the back. I don't know. Going into game number 3, we're going to see what happens because Doonebug is one battle away from resetting this bracket.
Doonebug was not happy with the way that those winners finals went down, losing 1-3 to Reis2Occasion. He fought his way back up for this grudge remax. He's 2 games ahead in this grand final series. One more is going to push him into that reset, but Reis2Occasion, we've seen him reverse sweep before. We know that he has it in him. He knows that he does not want to lose, and he's in that winner's side.
This might be the start of a comeback for Reis. Like you said, the reverse sweep is definitely in the cards, but he's got to win 3 games straight in order to pull it off. Doonebug97, though, already locked in, already selected his Pokemon, already knows exactly what he wants to do in this pivotal battle.
Momentum has shifted to Doonebug's side, being able to take that game 5 away from Rockhaven in those losers finals, able to take games 1 and 2 in the grand finals here. One more to him. Let us know in the chat who you're rooting for. Do you want to see this reset? Is Doonebug going to take it away from Reis2Occasion, or is Reis going to rise to the challenge?
Game number 3 is slated and ready to go here. Our trainers have locked in. This might be the start of a bracket reset or the start of a comeback. Let's get right into it, everybody. Unova Stunfisk versus Galarian Corsola.
Things are getting a little bit spooky on that side of the Doonebug here as he just lets that Corsola tank all of this energy the Unova Stunfisk is building up here. It's going to take a little bit longer for that Galarian Corsola to pace, but even still throwing the Nightshade first.
Yeah, definitely a very bulky matchup to start us off here. No clear winner. We're going to get a lot of charge attacks thrown, and in terms of resistances, I don't see a lot of chances for a swap, but in comes Reis with that Gastrodon, trying to get an early energy lead.
Going ahead now, Corsola staying in this matchup, going ahead and throwing yet another charge attack, perhaps a bit of a chip and dip. Maybe Doonebug is actually even going to stay in. No, he comes in with that Wigglytuff, but this is great for Reis2Occasion. He's already at a Water Pulse, and this Dusknoir can avoid this matchup.
Yeah, perfectly said. Water Pulse connects, Wigglytuff gets weakened down at to half health, and this Gastrodon might even get to another charge attack here if Doonebug is not careful. Actually on the charge attack priority, beautifully thrown here at the Swift.
Great recognition by Doonebug, knowing he's going to win that charge attack priority, throwing that Swift, getting that Gastrodon out without using any shields. In comes that Unova Stunfisk again, and now being able to throw a Mud Bomb. This puts it in a much better position, however. There's so much energy on that Unova Stunfisk, and the Wigglytuff is so low that this Mud Bomb is able to knock out.
Yeah, two Thundershocks on the Mud Bomb makes you avoid that second charm damage, so Reis keeps his Unova Stunfisk healthier going into this next matchup. Still all 4 Protect Shields in play. Galarian Corsola returns to the field.
Going ahead now and seeing that this Mud Bomb is going through, still no Protect Shield on Doonebug's side. I think Doonebug is probably thinking it's the Empoleon in the back because Reis has brought it so many times. A simultaneous swap. It is that Dusknoir here, just starting to astonish away, but Talonflame is already able to reach a Flame Charge. He's going to have to use a Protect Shield if he wants to use it.
2 Protect Shields in play. The first one of the battle does get burned here by Doonebug. And the question is, if he continues to Incinerate, can he pick up the knockout before the Dusknoir does? I don't know. Those Astonishes are dealing so much damage in kind.
Starting to sizzle here. Reis2Occasion uses his shield to block up this Flame Charge, but now this is boosted. Incinerate's coming through. Fly is loaded, but it goes down. Talonflame goes down.
3 Astonishes get the job done. In comes a Galarian Corsola, and it's going to peel the second shield away from Doonebug97 here with the Shadow Punch.
Shadow Punch going to be deflected here with this shield, and down goes the Dusknoir, and now it's again a battle. Where it started is where it's going, but Reis2Occasion still has 1 shield to his name. Mud Bomb coming through Galarian Corsola. This will not be enough to knock out, but it's getting to end game time.
Unova Stunfisk just 3 Thunder Shocks away. Galarian Corsola doesn't have much HP, and this is Reis striking back after losing the first 2 games of our grand finals. We've got a series on our hands.
Reis2Occasion says, I am not getting swept here. I'm taking this game. This is turning back into a competitive series. Taking some notes, saying I want to win this regional competition. I want to be the only trainer in Pokemon GO to win a regional competition every season.
So far, Doonebug has really controlled the narrative when it comes to just surviving on a couple of HP, winning those pivotal matchups that he needs to eventually win the battle. But that time, Reis showed why he's in this grand finals alongside his opponent. He showed that he can execute, he knows his damage intervals, and his Shadow Dusknoir is extremely potent.
These Shadow Pokemon mean business. Heavy hitting damage, but they also take so much damage. Doonebug not able to get to that second fly there, going down. Reis2Occasion taking the game. He needs to be able to get 2 more to call himself that champion. Doonebug just needs 1 more game to reset the bracket.
Going to game number 4 here, Reis2Occasion has locked in his squad, his trio, his best options for this next battle. He's got to win 2 straight if he wants to take that trophy. But if he lets Doonebug win even 1 more, we're going to see a brand new fresh set. Let's get right into it, everybody. We've got game number 4. Empoleon finally finds its target.
Looks like this is exactly the matchup Reis2Occasion is looking for, and Primeape comes in immediately. It's actually one of those Pokemon that, when it has 2 shields to hide behind, is an interesting, safe swap, especially if there's not going to be a Fairy-type Pokemon on the other side. This Rage Fist will connect. This will boost the attacks from the Primeapes for the rest of the game, or until it clears out.
Primeape taking its time to get to the Rage Fist here against that Gastrodon. Not sure if it's going to connect after all. Like you said, Amanda, this is something where you want to build up your attack, you want to boost that damage output, but I don't know if we're going to get there at this point.
This Annihilape has so much rage, it does not know what to do with it there. Just kind of sitting there, shaking its fist, saying, oh, I wanted to throw that attack.
Exactly. Well, we might be looking at a battle reset here as our judges work out what's happening on the stage. But that being said, I mean, Empoleon lead into Wigglytuff for Reis, that was tremendous. He's probably feeling very confident after that call. And I think he knows his Gastrodon versus Shadow Primeape matchup too, so maybe he felt like he had a pretty good shot to win that, but Doonebug was going to do everything he could to fight back.
I know that these two trainers, they've played against each other so many times, but this moment, this is a time where they're really trying to determine who is going to come out on top here in Las Vegas. Grand Finals moments. This is our first regional competition here in this place.
Reis2Occasion just starting a comeback there, but again, the ice hits in the moment where he is just starting to heat up. The question becomes, can Reis do what Doonebug said in that Grand Finals interview? Can he keep on breathing? Can he stay steady in the face of all of these challenges?
Reis2Occasion had a really great lead there. Empoleon against Wigglytuff, there's not really anything that Wigglytuff could have done, but that quick swap out by Doonebug kind of put him in an okay position. I think both of those trainers might have tried to fight for that switch advantage in the middle. There's still so much to go. I mean, that was the very beginning portion of that matchup.
Exactly. Things were just getting started. Really hard to call which direction that would have gone. But I mean, at this level, right, when you're a trainer like Reis, like Doon, and you can predict that lead scenario so cleanly, I mean, that is a distinct advantage to start. But as we've seen all weekend, to be honest, winning the lead does not mean winning the game. We say it over and over.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Butters and Wholesome yesterday turned it into winning lead means you're going to lose the game, as they saw it so many times play out that way with trainers. Quick reflexes with this new 45-second switch timer that makes the switches just a little quicker, a little more engaging. You have to keep track of your opponent's energy. You have to keep track of your own energy, health. This game is so much fun to watch.
I'm sure both trainers feeling a lot of emotions up on the stage. Doonebug's trying to hold Reis back from winning this entire tournament, and he's just one step away from doing that. Meanwhile, Reis, he's probably got a lot on his mind. I mean, there's a lot of people that think he is going to be that trainer that continues that streak of winning a championship every single season. A lot of expectations, right? On his shoulders.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's a lot going through his mind. I know that he's saying, you know, he's taking it a game at a time. He's taking the preparation. He doesn't want the weight on his shoulders. But when you're in this hot seat, when you're recognizing how close you are to another one, he's got to be able to just really feel it, almost taste it, that championship is so close for him.
Doonebug really just coming for the crown, right? He's playing like he's got nothing to lose. He's already in the Grand Finals, and he knows he needs to pull off some special maneuvers to take wins away from Reis. So as our team gets all of our tech sorted out here, we will get back to those battles just as soon as we possibly can.
Both of these trainers super well versed with being in Grand Finals. Both of these trainers have been regional champions multiple times, so this is a familiar seat for them. They know that just because they're down doesn't mean that they're out. Doonebug, if he wins one more game, that means he's going to be part of this Grand Finals bracket reset. Reis needs to be able to take 2 games to seal that victory for him, or else we're going to have a basically brand fresh new set of best of 5.
I think that every championship series event is a different challenge, whether it's Doonebug falling to that loser side bracket in San Antonio and clawing his way back to the trophy, or whether it's Reis just kind of coming into another event with everyone's eyes on him and kind of figuring out how to center himself and what his personal goals are. And then you get to a position like this where you kind of feel like you're gaining momentum and then you're stopped. And you have to kind of rebuild that momentum and not let the anxiety get the better of you.
But absolutely what Doonebug said earlier, just keep breathing. This is a moment for both of these trainers, a little bit of time to pause, to self-reflect, to decide what they want to do in those battles that are coming up, because this is a big moment for both of these trainers. Even though they've been in these seats before, that doesn't mean that that's wants to be their last time. Doesn't mean that's their last gold medal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you would compare this to like 2022 when these two were in the Grand Finals, I'd say that their composure is probably a lot better, but the intensity has only gone up. And these trainers know exactly what they want to do. They want to execute that game plan. I can see Reis and Doon, when you look in their eyes, they are always thinking about what their next play is.
Their skill level has gone up so much since this competitive circuit started, but so has the skill level of so many other trainers. Not only have they gotten better, they've had to battle against the best to be here, to be in these top seats, and now it's going down to this boiling point where it's going to be who will be this champion of Las Vegas.
Everybody, we are in search of a stable connection so that we can give you the rest of the Grand Finals just as quickly as we can. I've got full confidence in our team here to get that done for all of us. So Reis2Occasion and Doonebug kind of staring at each other across the stage, but we might be getting into the battles very shortly.
Looks like both of these trainers now scanning the codes here, gonna get locked into the battles, and it looks like one of their sides is going up, so we should get into these battles relatively soon. If you remember, previously there was that Empoleon lead on the side of Reis2Occasion up against the Wigglytuff on the side of Doonebug. He immediately swapped out into that Primate.
Because, yeah, exactly. However, things do not have to play out the same way necessarily. We might actually see a brand new lead, a brand new swap. Let's see what we get here, everybody. Reis locked in. He wants to continue this comeback. He wants that first place trophy, and Doonebug97 needs to make sure that he can slow down his rival and friend and reset this bracket.
Going ahead and just taking a couple minutes to lock in here. Like Will just said, since this was a rematch situation, that means it can be a fresh new team that would be locked in here. So both of these trainers just taking a couple seconds to decide what they want to bring to this. For Doonebug, if he wins this, this would be a bracket reset in these grand finals moments. They're hopping into the battle.
Game number 4 coming at you, everybody. We've got a lock in on both sides, waiting for the battle to get started. Should happen any moment.
And both of these trainers want to win this so badly. I promise you guys, there is a lock-in.
There is a lock-in on both sides. We can peek at the screens back here. We might need to resend it one more time to make sure that we are aligned and in the same battle, so to speak.
And both of these trainers just taking a moment to, they know what they need to do to be able to win the battles. When you're choosing 3 Pokemon of the 6 to be bringing in, I think the thing that goes through a lot of the trainers' minds is, what do I do if I lose the lead? What is my plan? What am I swapping into? And they kind of use that for all of the Pokemon. So with Reis2Occasion, when he had that Empoleon lead, Doonebug was like, if it is an Empoleon, I'm going to swap to my Primate. That's exactly what he did last game. So in these moments, while it's taking a little bit to lock in, I think they're just running over the scenarios of what could be in the lead, how they want to play out the different matchups.
I gotta ask you, Amanda, because I'm looking at these trainers' faces, right? I'm trying to monitor their expressions and try to see how they're feeling. I just saw Doonebug kind of smirk, just kind of smile, you know? So in a stressful situation, what kind of person are you? Do you smile, do you laugh about it, or do you kind of say, oh man, I gotta solve this, you know?
You know, Will, I'm so glad you asked. What I do is I crouch down to the fetal position, I lie down, and I just curl up into a ball and cry.
Okay.
Why? What do you do?
No, sorry. I'm just imagining these trainers lying under the table, curled up. But I don't think we're going to see that. I don't know. For me, I kind of laugh. I feel like you have to kind of laugh it off, right? I mean, zoom out, have some perspective. Say that, you know, this is a stressful moment, but it's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
You know, you can kind of just chuckle about it. And you know what? Some of those moments become the funniest stories when you're at a party, when you're with friends. Let me tell you about this one time. It's absolute fire. All right, everybody. So maybe you should have that perspective sometimes.
And both of these trainers, obviously, we want to get into these matches. We want to see who is going to be our first ever regional champion of Las Vegas. But we, of course, want to make sure everything is running properly so we can get those matches to you. In the meantime, Will made me do it once before. I'm going to make him do it again. He's got more dance moves to show you. He was telling me during that break, that actually wasn't my best dance move. I said, I'll give you another opportunity. Whoa. This guy.
Can you top that?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think anyone can.
I don't think so. Nobody clipped that. No, hey, listen, nobody clipped that, all right? I don't want to explain that to my loved ones.
Yeah, no, I think that dance actually needs no explanation at all.
That's a compliment, right?
Yes, exactly. That's a compliment. Let me tell you, in the meantime, since we do have a little sneak peek at the phones, what's going on, while they're waiting to make sure everything is working properly, there's still that event that's going on here in the venue, and that is the wild area. So I see them going ahead, catching some Pokemon. How are you doing on this? There's a collection challenge today, and I actually forgot about it until like a couple of minutes before we got back onto the booth. So I still need to catch an Inkay to be able to complete my collection challenge.
Amanda, when we were doing our top tips from Las Vegas trainers, the first tip was from Fraggin' Wagon. He said, make sure to check your time research and get those done. So maybe you weren't watching the same video I was watching, but I'm having a really fun time. There was a moment backstage where I got a little nervous because our producer asked me to trade away my perfect Grimmsnarl. He said, hey, we're lucky friends. Don't worry, it'll probably be a perfect one anyway. And I said, hold on a second. I don't think it works that way.
Well,
you never know.
Even if it wasn't, you could use that silver bottle cap if you got that deluxe pass to be able to maybe make it that completely full bar Dark Ray. I mean, there's been so many cool Pokemon that are here. I have that like you talked about, not Grimmsnarl, but it was a Dark Ray, a regular one, but I don't have the XL candies to be able to power it up fully, so I've been doing a lot of the Dark Ray raids, hopefully just to get those. I actually Mega Evolved my Houndoom to be able to get extra Dark XL candies.
Very, very smart. Amanda, you were the architect behind our suits yesterday. You have a penchant for style. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much aura does this Beware have from this Go Wild
Let
event?
me tell you, I love that little cape scarf thing. It looks pretty cool. At least a 7 out of 10.
Wait, 7?
At least.
Okay. Let me refine the question. How much aura does the shiny Beware with the scarf have?
That's a 10 out of 10.
Okay, that's what I thought.
10 out of 10.
Sometimes you just got to ask the right questions, right? I mean, we learned that from the Hitchhiker's Guide. Ask the right questions, everybody.
And let us know in the chat a couple things. First, let us know what you think of Will's dance moves, because that's also 10 out of 10, clearly.
My entire personality is riding on what you say, chat. So please be kind in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, just like you don't want to see him curl up into that fetal position and cry. So be kind.
It might be a solo cast from there on out for Miss Lundberg here.
The second thing I want to know is, what was your best catch during the wild area? What are you most proud of? Maybe even use that hashtag play Pokemon and we can feature it on different things. Third thing, who do you think is going to win between Doonebug and Reis2Occasion? Because these two trainers have battled it out so many times, and each of them have taken victories.
Yeah, they absolutely have. It's kind of like a back and forth kind of seesaw competition, and when you see one of them take 2 wins over the other, then that trainer who lost starts to think, oh, I need to step it up. I can't let my opponent get too far ahead of me. But we've had so many different meetings of these two trainers. I think it was last season, we called it the Tangle in Texas when they met at a regional championship there. So I don't know what kind of alliteration or metaphor we can use here in Vegas, but I'm sure we'll think of something.
Yeah, I think by the end here, when the chips have been thrown and everything is settled, we'll come up with some definitely good metaphor for these two Titans going up against each other one more time.
We're here live in Las Vegas. Beautiful city, wonderful time.
Shoe on the head, or I don't believe it's live.
Okay, if you insist. Well, we've had an incredible event here in Las Vegas, but there are events all around. Go ahead and scan this QR code. Join a local cup or challenge in your area and get involved in the competitive scene. I mean, we'd love to see you here on stage at a regional championship. Maybe you will pair up against Reis2Occasion in the grand finals, or maybe you will meet Doonebug in that losers finals. Who knows?
I know a lot of trainers use their 6 Pokemon that they want to use in the regional competitions at their cups and challenges. It's a great way to test out which Pokemon are going to be viable, see which ones are going to work the best against opponents in this current meta. This current meta is actually dwindling down. There is about I think 17 days left before our new meta will be announced.
That's a really good point, Amanda. Every 3 months with the in-game season rotation, we do get an update to which Pokemon are going to get different movesets, or maybe moves get adjusted. Maybe we see new Pokemon gaining access to charge attacks or fast attacks that suddenly make them viable. So a lot can change come the season rotation in December.
Yeah. You know, Will, you're not getting out of it. I did say shoe on the head or it's not live. You said it's a live event.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to talk to production because I need to know if this is real or if this is just something you're saying. Oh, actually the camera goes off and it's back, all right? Production, be honest with me. Do I have to put my shoe on my head in order to prove that it's live? Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on. No, they say I don't have to do that, all right?
Okay.
Come on, Amanda.
I'm just so silly.
You're making me jump
I've got
through
nothing
hoops.
at this point here. I'm glad that we got to show off the shoes a little bit, though. Thank you, Will, for obliging with that. And thank you, everyone, for sticking with us through this. We just want to make sure that everything is going to be right for these trainers because, again, with a game that comes down to split-second decisions, when turns are half-second, we want to make sure everything is going according to plan.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we are going to get these trainers set up here as soon as we possibly can. Reis2Occasion still at 1 victory, Doonebug at 2. Doonebug is 1 game away from resetting the bracket, and Reis, like I said, I felt like he was heating up. He was starting to come back there after taking game 3 off of Doonebug, and he's going to look to continue that.
Yeah, he had a great lead with that Empoleon to the Wigglytuff, but now it's going to be fresh new teams into this new game 4 here. This was the moment in the losers finals when Rockhaven was able to take game number 4 to go into a decisive game 5. Reis2Occasion needs to do the same if he wants to be able to call himself champion in this current grand finals round.
We're running a couple tests here on stage to make sure everything is working correctly. And we are getting closer and closer to jumping back into our grand finals matchups. But honestly, if you're Reis or if you're Doonebug, you're probably feeling pretty nervous coming into this. I think at first, probably a little frustrated that you can't continue playing. But I think now at this point, they probably cooled off a little bit, maybe come to terms with it, and that actually might benefit them in the long run.
I mean, a lot of times trainers, you get really caught up in the emotions, your adrenaline is very high, and they're saying, okay, I'm on stage, this is my big moment. But now having a moment to just settle down a little bit, breathe like Doonebug suggested earlier on, they have some time to compose themselves, come up with some new plans, because a lot of times when they're in this position, they don't get a big break. We saw them immediately in the lounge. They had to go run to the stage to start playing these matchups, but now they've had some time to think and process and have a bit of a game plan going forward.
Great interview, by the way. Wholesome?
Yeah, it was really, really fun between them.
With Reis and Doonebug. I mean, we've been calling Wholesome different names all weekend long. Let us know your favorite Wholesome nickname. Wherever you are watching, let us know what you think. I think Wholesome _ is a classic one.
That is, the go-to. I had a couple more, but we don't have any interviews with them. Maybe I'll save them for another time if we happen to be on any cast together.
Ooh, I'll tell you what. If people want to hear more Wholesome nicknames, and they want to see our shoes, maybe they should keep on watching for when we close out in the lounge.
That's a great idea. Talking about casting, I know that next weekend is going to be the Latin America International Championships, and one competitor that we see on the stage here making it so far is actually taking off that competitor's mindset and putting on the caster's headset, because Reis2Occasion is one of the casters who will be there. So tune in for that limited meta. This new meta is very exciting for Pokémon GO, first time ever being released, and he's going to be there live for all of the action.
We filmed a segment yesterday with Butters, with Wholesome, and yourself and myself. I honestly think that when we were challenged to draw our picks, I mean, let's be honest, everybody, I think my drawings were superior in every way.
You were drawing a superior? That was that first one?
No.
I mean, it almost looked like it.
Superior is not allowed. People that know the meta know that.
That is true. Probably superior doesn't really do too well into teams that are a lot of dragons and ice type Pokemon, so maybe superior wouldn't even have a place in the meta. As a reminder, next weekend you're going to want to make sure to tune into that, because that is going to be a big event with so many trainers from North America, from Europe, and the LATAM region competing there. I think we probably might even get some of them from Oceania.
Oh, I mean, jokes aside, I did do the LAIC pre-show on Friday, and I did my absolute best, everybody, for real, to break down the meta, to talk about the top picks. I analyzed a lot of practice tournaments and kind of dissected what people were thinking, what trainers were experimenting with, and I think there's a lot of value in that. So if you ever head over to the main Pokemon channel, you can check out that VOD and maybe get a little preparation in. But I think our preparation is over, Amanda. We might have a lock-in here any second.
Both of our preparation is over, but the preparation of Reis2Occasion on that left-hand side and Doonebug97 is just beginning, because this is the grand finals here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Doonebug is leading this grand finals here 2-1, but he is coming from that loser's side of the bracket. That means he needs to win this next game or one before to be able to make it to that grand finals reset.
Exactly. Reis2Occasion's already locked in. Doing some final checks here before our trainer on the right does so as well. It looks like we're going to get into this game at any moment, everybody. I know this is what you've been waiting for. We're into it. We've got lock-ins on both sides, and I think we're going in right now.
Make some noise for your favorite trainer as we are kicking off into this game number 4 in the grand finals. We have an Empoleon lead up against a Galarian Corsola this time. It looks like Reis2Occasion going ahead, staying in this matchup, just gaining a little bit of energy here. If we take a peek at that backline there, we have that Shadow Primeape and Shadow Talonflame on the side of Doonebug, and he is just content to stay in this, soak up that damage from the Empoleon here.
None of the traditional targets here in Doonebug's composition. You don't see a Cradily, you don't see a Wigglytuff here, but the Empoleon is a neutral monster as well. It can deal so much damage over time, and the Hydro Cannon getting fired off here into the Galarian Corsola is going to take it deep into the red.
Now, quick pivot out, going to catch this, but has to put up a shield if you're Reis2Occasion, because this would still do a lot of damage to this Shadow Dusknoir that has just come in, and now we see that Shadow Primeape. It's not often that you're seeing a Shadow Primeape coming in to a Shadow Dusknoir, but I mean, look at this. Already able to throw a Rage Fist, already able to boost up the attack, and Reis2Occasion does not shield the first one. Look how much damage that does.
Double resistant karate chops, but super effective Rage Fist, and we see a Shadow Punch get fired off in kind. Shield coming up here from Doonebug97 as he wants to protect his glassy, high-octane Shadow Primate.
Reis2Occasion did not shield the first one because he knew the second one would be even more impactful, but you know what? Not even shielding up the second one because Primeape has come into play, and now the Empoleon gets completely avoided as this Gastrodon comes to Mudslap down. A quick pivot by Doonebug here into that Shadow Talonflame. Reis2Occasion staying in this here and going for the Water Pulse. This is the heavy-hitting attack. Doonebug might think it's a bait, but doesn't want to risk it. He puts up his last Protect Shield.
Can Shadow Talonflame ride the waves here, though? Because the Empoleon comes right in there, no Protect Shields in play, and Doonebug goes for the Flame Charge here.
Keep your eye on it because this Flame Charge is going to boost the Incinerate damage, and Empoleon is also part Steel, even though it's part Water. But since he's already at the Hydro Cannon on that side of Reis2Occasion, this should be enough to wash away the Talonflame. The real question is going to be, how long can this Primeape hang on?
Can't hang on. It gets KO'd through the Metal Sounds, and Reis continues his comeback here, evening up the series 2-2. We are headed into a decisive game number 5 in our grand finals.
You see it at that bottom there. Reis2Occasion on the winner's side of the bracket wins game number 4, going into our best of 5 matchup. If he wins this next one, we are already crowning a champion. He is already making history, but Doonebug wants to do everything he can to stop it.
I'm just not sure what Doonebug is targeting with the Talonflame. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know which targets it can really decimate on Reis' side. But Doonebug is in this grand finals for a reason. Maybe he needs to make that adjustment and look elsewhere in order to counter Reis' team. But Amanda, in the length of time that you spoke that sentence after the game, Reis2Occasion locked in his team.
He's locked in. He had so much time on that stage. He says, you know what? I think I'm ready to end this. I think I'm ready to win it all. And he has that mindset locked away. But Doonebug did say in the interview, you know, it's always a pleasure playing you, my friend, but you are going down. Doonebug took the first 2 games of this series. Reis2Occasion fought back to make it 2-2. It's still anyone's game.
Doonebug fans, rev your engines. Reis2Occasion fans, get out of your seats. This is game number 5. This could be it. Gastrodon takes on Unova Stunfisk.
And this is more of a neutral, but maybe more in favor of the Gastrodon because those fast attacks don't do anything at all. And actually, Doonebug immediately pivots into his Galarian Corsola here, and Reis2Occasion stays in, goes for the Water Pulse. No Protect Shield on Doonebug's side.
Looking for a little bit of chip and dip here. Water Pulse will connect into the Galarian Corsola. That Shadow Dust Noir is what Reis decides to pull here, as the Astonish damage will add up rather quickly.
Going for a Nightshade now and letting another Astonish go through. Reis2Occasion puts up a Protect Shield, wants to be able to get as much damage off as possible. Looking at his backline, he does have that Empoleon that hasn't been revealed yet. Another Nightshade going through, and Reis2Occasion doesn't want to use the shield. He goes for his own charge attack, forcing Doonebug to make a decision.
Yeah, beautiful timing there. He knows the Shadow Dust Noir win that charge attack priority tie, and he triggers it intentionally. In comes Unova Stunfisk, looking for another Shadow Punch here, but the Mud Bomb might actually be enough to KO. Let's see.
This Dust Noir is getting low. Keep in mind it's also Shadow, so it's taking that 20% more damage. Mud Bomb connects. Dust Noir hangs on by a thread and actually goes for a dynamic punch.
Reis2Occasion hangs on by a thread like a puppet master pulling the strings. Dynamic Punch connects. Unova Stunfisk loses a ton of HP. In comes the Talonflame behind 2 shields. This is Doonebug's best chance.
Going ahead, just getting a little more energy. Reis2Occasion goes for the Body Slam. You talked earlier about how Doonebug knows his counts, but since this is a Shadow Talonflame, he's got to try to keep it healthy. He figures there's probably an Empoleon in the back, but with the shields to hide behind, with ramping up energy, this might be just what he needs.
3 Metal Sounds there. That means the Empoleon is 2 away from the Hydro Cannon as the Flame Charge gets fired here. After a boost, the Talonflame might put this Empoleon within range. Let's see.
No Protect Shields left on Reis' side as he ends up shielding that up. Doonebug has loses his last Protect Shield as well on this Talonflame. Looking at the energy at the bottom, he does have enough for another Flame Charge, but he goes for the fly. He goes for one more Incinerate first. This is already boosted. Should it be enough to knock out the Empoleon?
Highly calculated here. Fly connects. It is enough to kill the Empoleon, and I think that the Talonflame will outpace the Gastrodon to another fly.
You see,
Doonebug, Talonflame ascends to the grand finals reset.
You see Reis2Occasion Rise2Occasion wondering, what could I have done? Doonebug says, absolutely nothing. We're taking this to the reset here as Doonebug takes the decisive game number 5.
Doonebug out to an early lead, winning 2 straight. Rise2Occasion trying to come back, but runs out of gas in the middle of the Nevada desert and can't cross the finish line. We're headed to a Grand Finals reset. It's not over yet. Rise and Doonebug are going to face off in one more best of 5.
You know, Will, you did say earlier on, I'm not quite sure what is being targeted with that Talonflame, and Doonebug says, okay, you don't know? Then watch this, because that's exactly the plays that he made at the end to take that game number 5 from Rise2Occasion, being able to just powerhouse through the Empoleon and the Gastrodon in the back.
Counterintuitively, I think that what Talonflame is targeting is actually just one word: everything. Anything it can hit with that fire type damage and the flies to boot, but expert energy management there by Doonebug97. The Shadow Dusknoir hanging on here. I mean, this is what we've seen time and time again in this series. These Pokemon just refuse to faint.
You're going ahead, wants to get off as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible, but Doonebug slow and steady here, and by slow, I mean look how long it takes the Incinerate to go through our only 5-turn attack in the game, able to take out that Empoleon, able to take out that Gastrodon, able to take a Grand Finals reset.
All right, everybody, I hope that you have some snacks, some drinks, some good company. Tell your friends to get in here. We got a Grand Finals reset in Las Vegas. Not many trainers get a second chance in Vegas, but Doonebug has one. Let's see if he makes the most of it as he looks to bring down Rise. The first trainer to win 3 battles will be your Las Vegas champion.
This is the reset. This is truly a winner takes it all moment here. Needs 3 battles to win here. Doonebug just took game number 5 off of Rise2Occasion, who knocked him down to that loser's bracket earlier on. Now he's taken his first defeat of the tournament, but this is where it all comes down.
You've seen a lot of Primeape, you've seen a lot of Shadow Talonflame. Does this mean that Florges should be an option on Rise's radar? You've got the Chilling Water for the Fire type, you got the Fairy Winds for the Primeape. Let's see what they decide to do. Game 1, Grand Finals reset, Gastrodon into Galarian Corsola.
Heavy, slow-moving Pokemon, but lots of damage going to be coming through and giving both opponents a little bit of time to assess and think about what is in the back for both of these trainers. Obviously, Rise2Occasion is going to go for that heavier hitting Water Pulse, going right at the same time that Nightshade is available by Doonebug's side.
I feel like Doonebug is leading this Galarian Corsola in every single game. He has no fear at all that Galarian Moltres from Rise2Occasion is going to show up, and it just lends itself to a Galarian Corsola lead all the time. Going to see the Nightshade get thrown here into that Gastrodon and a pivot into the Talonflame.
Talonflame just coming in to try to get a little bit of energy since it does pace a little bit slowly. Those Incinerates take so long, already at it, and now Doonebug is going for the Flame Charge. This means since there's 2 shields to hide behind, he's going to boost up its attack for the rest of the time the Talonflame is in this game.
At the cost of that shield, Rise is going to get the Body Slam here. I think he's confident he can withstand that Incinerate damage and get to 1 more charge attack, but it's going to be really close. Actually pivots out into that Shadow Dusknoir here.
That Shadow Dusknoir is going to have to take yet another Flame Charge. Double boosting here. No Protect shields remaining on the side of Rise2Occasion. This Talonflame is screeching energy into that Dusknoir. Dusknoir able to reach that Shadow Punch, and it looks like Doonebug's trying to swap out into that Galarian Corsola. That's exactly what he's going to do. 2 Shadow Punches loaded on the side of Rise2Occasion.
So even if Doonebug shields his first one, he's going to get hit with another. Does he decide to do it? No, he recognizes the energy, does not want to give up that invaluable Protect shield at this stage in the game. He's got that Unova Stunfisk. I assume it'll come in as soon as that switch timer is expired.
Man, I'm looking at these backlines here. I'm looking at the fact that Doonebug has a shield. In comes that Unova Stunfisk, and Rise has to be thinking, eek, because the Empoleon is there lurking in the back, trying to get off as much damage as possible. Dynamic Punch coming through, now coming in with the Gastrodon to just start chipping.
This is a test of late game counting, and Doonebug is going to go ahead and shield up the Body Slam there. Wants to maintain some HP on his Unova Stunfisk. Does not want to take any more damage, but he's going to have to. The Mudslaps are super effective, but he's building to double. He might have what it takes to KO the Empoleon and win this game 1.
What a risk, but high reward there. You know, normally finally see an electric type farming down a ground type Pokemon, but what comes out is just a ton of energy. In comes the Empoleon, Mud Bomb #1 coming through, no Protect Shield on Rise's side.
Switch timer is 45 seconds. Every charge attack minigame is 10 seconds. He needs to time this perfectly. He needs to throw right now, and Doonebug knows exactly what he has to do. Double Mud Bombs are going to bury this Empoleon and pick up the KO.
Mud Bomb puts that Empoleon back into the ground with the rest of that mud, and it's able to take out that Dusknoir. Doonebug takes the first game of the Grand Finals reset.
Doonebug winning 2 games early on, losing 2, winning the decisive game, and then starting off this Grand Finals reset on the right foot. Reis2Occasion needs an answer. He needs to figure out how to slow down Doonebug, because I just feel like he can't cover everything. Maybe he feels limited, maybe he feels like he can't bring certain Pokemon, but he's got to figure out how to hit back against Doonebug97.
Doonebug has brought in the Credilli before, he's brought in the Wigglytuff before, so it's a real big question of what Pokemon does he want to bring in, since these two trainers have been playing against each other in the Winners Finals, in the Grand Finals, and now the Grand Finals reset. There's been so many different ways to play out these matches, and Doonebug has seemed to unlock the code here, winning that last round in the Game 5 of the Grand Finals, and now winning Game 1 in the reset. Reis2Occasion has to reset himself, use that time to be calm and collected, but also realize what he needs to do to keep that championship dream alive in his mind.
Doonebug already locked in. Rise just now followed suit. We're heading into game number 2 of our Grand Finals reset. Doonebug 2 battles away from becoming your champion. Rise has to win 3 straight, and this is a tough lead for Rise to start.
Doonebug is so adaptable, bringing in that Wigglytuff. Reis2Occasion quickly pivots out. We talked about this a little bit earlier on. Because there is a Wigglytuff in the lead, there's most likely not a Credilli in the back, which leads Reis2Occasion to slave swapping his Gastrodon.
I think we saw this earlier as well, but last time Doonebug opted for the Primate. We're going to see what happens, though, because the Gastrodon does get to the Water Pulse. This will likely connect and deal a ton of damage to Wigglytuff.
Wigglytuff will be able to take all of this. It does knock it down very low into the red, but the Swift is already available. And actually, same thing happened the first time. Wigglytuff gets to be able to have all of its charge attacks, survives on just a sliver of HP, and gets to dictate what will come in.
Icy Wind is going to be the charge attack of choice no matter what Rise chooses to bring in, and it is the Empoleon. This feels eerily similar to a game that we saw earlier in the Grand Finals first bracket. Icy Wind is going to slow down the Empoleon, and it looks like Doonebug brings in the Primate.
Man, I tell you what, though, this Empoleon is in between a rock and a hard place here. Do you want to have electric damage and ground damage, or do you want to have fighting type damage against you? This Dusknoir coming into that Unova Stunfisk. 2 Protect Shields left on Reis2Occasion's side. He doesn't shield up that first Mud Bomb. Knows it's not going to be enough to knock out, just continuing to get a lot of energy, now throwing a charge attack of his own.
Shadow Punch will connect into the Unova Stunfisk. No shield used here by Doonebug97. He knows his bulky ground and electric type Pokemon can tank it. This next Mud Bomb, I think Rise probably could have withstand it, but he's going to throw up the Protect Shield anyway.
Wants to make sure, because Dusknoir might be his big hope here, because those Astonishes are going to be what's putting in the work to that Primate in the back. He's got to start stripping away shields here, because Doonebug might be in the same position he was in when he won a game earlier with a 2-shielded Primate up against an Empoleon.
The challenge here is that Primate cannot fast attack down the Dusknoir. It's got to throw some energy, and those Astonishes are adding up so quickly. Reis2Occasion is locked in his strategy. He's going for a fast attack, damage, win condition. He wants to land as many Astonishes as possible and let Empoleon do the rest. But will it be enough? 2 more Astonishes come through. The knockout will connect, though.
Yeah, you see Reis2Occasion a little bit frustrated at this point, because just generating energy with every chop here. This Primate is primed and ready to go. 2 shields to hide behind. Doesn't even matter. 1 more Rage Fist to go to secure game number 2.
The 3rd Rage Fist in a row, and Primate and Doonebug97 continue to ratchet up the pressure. Reis2Occasion bends. He doesn't break often, but this looks really, really tough for him.
He's got to be able to get what we call a reverse sweep. These are the big moments. This is already the reset. Reis2Occasion needs 3 games, the next 3 games, to be able to win this tournament. Doonebug97 knocked down to the losers bracket from Reis2Occasion, climbed back up to be in this exact spot.
Just to give everyone a sense of the vibe on stage, before Rise clicked the rematch button, Doonebug had already locked in his trio.
Doonebug is so locked in. You can see it on his face. He knows what he wants to do. He's showcasing why he's been the first two-time regional competition winner in one season, and then he won one more right after that. Just say, okay, 2 wasn't even enough. Let me continue to make history. He could win another one if he just wins this next game.
For Reis, the challenge is not to let your mind wander. You cannot think, oh, I've got to win 3 battles. I've got to win 3 games in a row. After facing so many tough matchups, you need to think about what's right in front of you. That is 1 battle. This is all that matters. Game 3 of the Grand Finals reset is on, everybody. Let's see. We get Shadow Primeape into the Unova and Stunfisk.
Unova and Stunfisk against Primeape here. And it looks like both of these trainers probably going to stay in for a little bit. I always like to look at that backline just to see how it's going to play out, how important this first matchup is. Sometimes you see trainers protecting, using their shields later on in the game. Sometimes they're used right away because they recognize how important this first matchup is. Reis2Occasion is going for that Mud Bomb. No Protect Shield was used on that Rage Fist, and no Protect Shield on the Primeape either. This will connect.
Doonebug didn't even build to the Ice Punch on that first go-around, but he is going to build to it here. He knows a boosted Ice Punch would threaten the KO. Does Reis take the bait, or does he call it? He's thinking about it. He does use the shield here.
Going ahead and shielding this up. Now 1 shield for Reis2Occasion. He has a ton of energy on this Unova and Stunfisk. Goes for another attack, and actually Doonebug shields up this super low health Primeape. Maybe he's thinking, this is so important. I want to get that switch at the beginning because he's wondering what is in the back. He wants to line up his Corsola if there's an Empoleon, he thinks, or if there's a Dusknoir, he wants that Wigglytuff right on it.
Yeah, when you were this ramped up, it's tomato. Primeape can get the KO either way, so he does pull the shield away from Reis. Down 0-1 shield. Galarian Corsola comes in, gonna get an energy lead, but Gastrodon comes out to meet it.
Now keep in mind that Unova and Stunfisk is super low health, but it has a lot of energy on it.